Agorist Nexus Podcast. I'm Brandon. I've got my great co-host Dag with me. How you doing, Dag?
I'm doing excellent, dude. How you doing?
Great, man. We've got a great guest on. But before we get into it, we want to shout out our sponsor, Presearch. Great decentralized search engine, Decentralized, highlighted. Earn crypto while you search. Don't get spied on by Google. And you can also help them out by mining. It's going to help the search engine. Pretty much mining, right? But yeah, it's going to help the search engine, and then you'll make pre-tokens as well. And you can even stake keywords. So if if you're selling pens or whatever, you can stake pens, and your search will be at the top. And it's super. Most searches don't go past the first page, so it's nice being up there on top at the first page. So yeah,
they're paying you to use their product, guys. Go do some searches, get some crypto.
And if you want to use
that easy,
if you want to use any of our referral links, that's a great way to help us out for free. It really helps us out. So with that said, we've got a great guest on today, Shane Radliff with Liberty Under Attack publication. Great guy. He does a lot of stuff for the Nexus. He's got the Vonu Podcast. And I'm probably going to butcher this like I butcher everything, but he's got Paznia. So and we'll go into details on that for sure. But how you doing, Shane?
Hey, I'm doing well. I'm doing well. Definitely appreciate you guys having me on the podcast, and glad the rural internet's working out. I'm not off grid yet, working to be off grid, but I'm out here in the middle of nowhere. So glad we're able to connect this time.
Yes, yeah. Welcome.
For sure, man. You got to get the SpaceX what is it? Oh, Starlink. Yeah, Starlink. I need that too.
Yeah, we'll see. There's not a whole lot of options out here. Unfortunately or fortunately, I guess depending upon how you look at it.
All right. Cool. So I want to talk a bit about Second Realm. I mean, if we could start there, I've been really loving those articles. And then you just published one fresh out today. So you've just been doing Nexus stuff for for the last couple of days. So we really appreciate that too.
Yeah.
And but if you could, just kind of explain Second Realm.
Sure. So I guess I should start by mentioning there's a really incredible book called Second Realm Book on Strategy. It's by a guy named pseudonymously named Smuggler and someone else named XYZ. And I've interviewed Smuggler a number of times. These are I guess you could say cypherpunks, crypto anarchists out over Berlin, Europe, that general area. But they put out this book, and basically, just generally speaking, the Second Realm is a combination of agorism, temporary autonomous zones. Keybase, if you're familiar with him, the concept of Tazes, security culture, crypto anarchy. It's just basically combining all these strategies, so that we can have pockets of freedom in both physical. But in both physical space and time, like in person, as well as digitally too, such as the interwebs, as we're talking on now. So I guess to start with definitions, I always like to start with definitions. If we're going to talk about the second realm, we got to talk about the first realm. And the first realm is why we're here. It's why the Nexus exists. It's the servile society. It's the society that does not respect self-ownership or individual liberty, but rather heralds the supremacy of government and authority. It upholds the collective as superior to the individual. So that's the state. That's the servile society. That's the society that upholds the state. That's why we all do what we do. At least in part. The second realm then. And along with Second Realm Book on Strategy, there's a fiction, a crypto agorist novella called #Agora. And I call this the fictional counterpart to Second Realm Book on Strategy. So you have the strategy guide, and then you have the fiction counterpart if you actually want to see how these ideas actually coalesce and and real, in real life. Hashtag Agorist is actually based on, again, the cypherpunks over in Europe, Berlin specifically, at least at that time. So the second realm, defined by hashtag Agora, they say, quote, technically the second realm is described as encrypted communication, encrypted currencies, anonymous and pseudonymous identities, and untraceable action, end quote. So it's very much integrating that crypto anarchy notion of the removal of attribution. If there's no attribution, if there's no attribution to legal name, then there's no way that so-called there's no way that they can come after you, right? If there's no one to charge. And then again, temporary autonomous zones with mobility, if they don't even know where you are, then they can't. Then it makes you very much more invulnerable to the coercion of the state and the servile society. So to reiterate, you've got the first realm, which is just the state, the servile society, and then the second realm, the pockets of freedom, where we can not only hold these principles of non-aggression and try to trade voluntarily and peacefully with each other. We can hold these principles, but it doesn't really matter all that much if we can't live it. So the strategy of the second realm, of building second realms, is so that we can live our principles in physical space and time, in person, not just over the internet. The internet's been great for connecting and networking, but it's never been more important, especially after 2020, that these things actually start locally, and that people start connecting and meet space, so so-called meet space, because things are have been heating up a little bit in the servile society. Maybe they're cooling down now. Who knows? But there's certainly some new areas of opportunity for Agorist. So I guess I'll leave it there and turn it over to you guys. Not yet. So that's I guess a good little introduction to the concept and kind of where we're at today.
That's great.
Yeah, it is. Go ahead, Dag. I don't want to cut you off like I usually do.
No, it was this one of the things that really drew me to agorism was okay, we're anarcho-capitalists. It's like, now what? So bringing about actual freedom, even if it's just in limited amounts or to limited people at whatever time, kind of the pockets of freedom thing is just where I feel I can make the most difference in in the world. So that's one of the things that really drew me to it. And one of the things I really like about a lot of stuff that you talk about the second realm and Vonu, which if I'm to correct me if I'm wrong, but that basically means trying your best to be ungovernable, right?
Yeah, essentially, yeah. It's Vonu. It's an awkward contraction of the words voluntary, not vulnerable, and basically the definition is becoming as invulnerable to public coercion, the state, and private coercion, private violators of person and property. Thieves, rapists. I don't know. Maybe a vaccination company, something along those lines, might fall into the realm of private coercion at this point. So. Becoming invulnerable to those things, both public and private, both the private varieties.
Yeah, it's definitely more important now, than ever, and going into the future for sure to take consideration and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of advice can you give?
Oh,
sorry.
Sure, no, go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say, what kind of advice can you give somebody to, to live this lifestyle, or to even just make a transformation to be, ungovernable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's not easy, but then again, being a slave isn't easy if you have a freedom mindset either. So, as far as solutions, it's very, very much, whether we're talking second realm or Vonu, basically cut the goal is to cut as many ties to the state and the servile society as possible. The less control they have over you, the more freedom you have, obviously, and that's just basic self-sufficiency, and building independence from from these very unstable institutions. But yeah, it's certainly easier said than done. I guess I can speak to kind of my experience, and and I'll say a lot of it wasn't planned at all. I mean, I didn't plan this. It just kind of happened the way that it did. The past couple of years have just transpired into what it has. But yeah, right now I call it a not real day job. I make liquor at a family distillery. Make liquor. That's my job is making liquor. And that's very, very flexible hours, all that stuff. So I have a 22-acre homestead here, and there's as we were kind of talking about before the show, just a little bit, there's lots to do on a homestead. There's lots of ways to make money. And with the way things are going now, that's where a lot of that's the direction a lot of people are going. So if that's kind of where you're headed, is kind of more towards an off-grid sort of off-grid self-sufficient lifestyle, then yeah, that's a terrific route to go. If not, I mean, there's a lot of options available. There's a lot of options available, and the idea is to make progress, right? To not just sit there and say, I wish I could have freedom. I wish this was possible. It's no, like, these solutions are available. They've been around for hell. Rayo, the main proponent of Vonu, was writing about these things in the 1960s. And obviously there were anarchists and folks before him. So yeah, none of this stuff is new, and there are solutions out there. I guess I could speak a little more to Vonu, as there are there's an abundance of solutions there. But yeah, as I said, the idea is lifestyle changes in pursuance of an invulnerability to coercion. So, for example, Rayo started out as a van nomad. He moved out of his apartment into a camper, mounted on a pickup truck, and pursued mobility as his main strategy. And he stayed mostly on so-called public lands out in the West. And then his next lifestyle change, his next strategy was wilderness Vonu, which entailed, and Rayo is a very radical guy. So your path doesn't have to be Rayo's. Vonu is yours for the making, as I always say. But his path in particular, he wanted to stay in a tent with Roberta, his free mate, out in the middle of the Siskiyou Forest in Northern California and Southern Oregon. So that was their lifestyle for a number of years until he disappeared, voluntarily or involuntarily. We don't know. But yeah, those are a couple possibilities for I guess the wilderness Vonu for more radical folks. Van nomadism is a terrific first step lifestyle. It's you know how to drive a car. Most people know how to drive a car, especially if you live in the USA. It's pretty common. If you're in Europe and other places, maybe you haven't driven a car, I guess. I do know some folks that haven't, but I'm at least in the States, it's not, that's not a barrier to entry. And it's a very freeing lifestyle. I know a lot of people. We've interviewed a number of van nomads over on the Vonu podcast, and I did some I guess some traveling for, I guess you could say, 3 months or so. And I guess a portion of that could be considered, I guess the vehicle nomadism variety, not a van but a car. And beyond that, like I said, what I'm doing here with I've got a homestead. I'm working to go off grid here over the next year or two. Perpetual traveling. Rayo even talked about back in, I think it was 1967. He talked about something he called ethical enclave trading as a potential solution, which ethical enclave trading is what I call the precursor to agorism. Some very, very, very interesting parallels. Yeah, definitely predated it. And Konkin did talk about Rayo and Vonu in a number of publications, and at least a handful of times. So interesting stuff there. But regardless, agorism is a strategy. Ethical enclave trading, those are kind of more in the realm of financial independence. But yeah, I guess those are just some various lifestyle changes in terms of Vonu. Beyond that, beyond that, I mean, just cut ties to the state. Cut ties to the state. Cut ties to the servile society. If you've got 3 bank accounts and you only need 2, close the bank accounts. If you have 2 cars that have registration or something on it, you only need 1. Maybe only renew 1 next time. I like, those are kind of silly examples, but you get the idea. Like, the idea is to cut as many ties to the first realm as possible, and
unless they're foreign banks,
build up.
Go on,
Go
sorry.
ahead.
Unless
No,
they're
you're good.
foreign bank accounts, you want as many avenues foreignly as possible, and in my opinion, just so that you can you've got different avenues you can take if need be. Just foreign bank accounts. That is
Sure.
though.
Sure. Yeah, and that's fair. That's definitely fair. And yeah, that's definitely fair. And a lot with a lot of, especially with whether it's the agorism or just financial independent route nowadays. There's it's pretty impossible to do. And well, not, I guess not impossible, but if you're going to reach like I guess a larger more normie audience, you're probably going to need a bank account, unfortunately. But yeah, as we all know, there's crypto and there's
Yeah,
crypto
absolutely.
and building up the Agora, building up the second realm. But yeah, you're right. You're certainly right. Rayo talked about this. I guess that's another strategy too, is legal interstices. But I'm not a huge fan of that. They're basically legal loopholes.
Yeah, I'm not.
Yeah,
I'm not a
not a
huge
huge fan.
fan. I'm not a huge fan of that either. But it is useful to have many, foreign bank accounts for
Mhm.
sure. It's
Mhm.
what's really funny is the van life used to be like ridiculed and in a van down by the river, and now I just see so many people trying to live that van life now. But uh but I really want to
Yeah,
touch
it's
on
definitely popular.
what's up. I,
I was just saying, yeah, it's definitely popular.
yeah, definitely now it's like I almost want to do it. But another thing too is that Rayo, I'm really like his work was pretty much, I'd say, very like unknown, and it's cool that
Hmm.
he lived that lifestyle, and it's great that you pretty much revived his whole entire you know uh philosophical outlook and uh you know his writings and everything. So um really appreciate that too.
Sure. Thanks. Yeah, I mean, it was certainly not planned. It wasn't planned. It was actually Kyle Reardon, my old host of the Vonu Podcast. Hopefully returning co-host too. But yeah, it was just a random. He's like, I saw a book review about this book on on someone's website. You might want to get it for we were doing something at the time called the Direct Action Series. Like, it might be worth an episode. I don't know. So it was a completely random toss in the dark. It wasn't planned at all. I definitely didn't plan on spending so many hours digitizing all of these publications, but um, yeah, it's been fantastic. It's been a great, I guess, historical kind of libertarian history kind of adventure. But also too, there's so much value. There's so much value in terms of
Yeah,
solutions, and yeah, there's so much value in just the way the way Rayo thought about a lot of things, and the way that he saw the world back in the 60s is just crazy. I mean, there's and I put it in, I think I put it in um the article that we published at Agorist Nexus today. um, but this was like, I think it was 1970. But he said, "quote I want a lifestyle which can easily withstand the worst technocratic super totalitarianism that is within the realm of reasonable possibility. We may still have some contact with that society. We won't have to worry appreciably over what idiotic thing the people molesters do next, any more than somebody who takes a vacation at the Riviera now and then needs to be much concerned about the politics of France. Our change in lifestyle will, in a sense, be an answer to, or sorry, our change in lifestyle will be, in a sense, an answer to the omnipotent estate line of Rothbard and Hess. Will answer not only in words, but by doing the only real way." So, like, you look at this quote. He's talking about the technocracy back in like 1970. So he's certainly a little ahead of the game on that one, because a lot of people just found out about that technocracy and this year, maybe even some folks. But he talked about that. He talked about this is secure communicators, which would facilitate, they're basically secure radio device, encrypted radio devices that would facilitate agorist trade in the underground, using underground payments, an underground bank over the net, like just crazy, like crazy foresight, crazy foresight. And like I said, there's so much wealth There's so much wealth of solutions in the realm of Vonu. And yeah, as I said, as I've said so many times on the podcast and in articles, Vonu is yours for the making too. I certainly haven't conceived of every single possible lifestyle change or lifestyle change, lifestyle combination. 'Cause that's another thing too. You can combine these things. You can need off-grid homesteading with crypto anarchy. You can do all these things and have a really, really resilient lifestyle. Yeah, Vonu's great, but then again, there's also these kind of new strategies: second realm, temporal autonomous zones, agorism. Yeah, use them all.
Absolutely.
All right, guys, so we got to take a break real quick and give a big shout out to our sponsors, Devault Cryptocurrency, ticker symbol DVT. Really excellent coin, a lot of cool features, working on privacy with Terraform. And what else they got going on over there, Brandon?
They're coming out with DeFi, and it's a proof of work coin, but you can stake it. And you're like, well, what does that even mean? Basically, you stake it and you get, it's like think of it as like interest, right? Like how a bank would do it, except it's not a bank. You hold it, nobody can touch it, and you're getting interest off of it, which is great. And it's super easy. Like you would think this would be complicated. It's super easy. You can stake. It took me 2 seconds, and even my grandma could figure that out. So I was super impressed with the innovations on this coin, with how super easy it was to stake it and get interest from it. And yeah, with such a small cap coin, their team is so innovative. We definitely could see great things coming out of this coin. So check it out. Not financial advice, but they're definitely worth looking at. So yeah, with that said, we'll get on with it.
I like what you were saying about like a homestead, and it gives you like so many different opportunities and everything for making money or contributing or trading or whatever. It's really nice. It's kind of like the possibilities are endless. What's some of the stuff that you guys are figuring out that's working out for you guys? If you don't mind me asking, over at am I going to mispronounce this? Paznia?
Yep, it's Paznia. So
Paznia. I'm sorry, man.
It's the Free Republic of Paznia.
I butchered that.
Some background. It's okay. I don't expect everything that I choose to venture in. It requires a lot of context and explanation for like Vonu. So it's okay. Like I'm used to it by now. But yeah, Paznia, permanent autonomous zone, as well as Paz is peace in Spanish. So. Basically what the idea is that I've got a 22-acre homestead here, and it's basically just a cool way to do. I call them stakeholder memberships. You can become a Paznian, and we'll make you a handmade passport. It looks pretty legit, actually. And some other cool perks. Or some perks for becoming a Paznian. And basically
nice.
the
Dude,
first step
I'll
here,
try to get that.
The end.
Oh, sorry. I'll try to get that. I'll try to get that stamp. I'll try to get that stamp by like, as many places as I could, make it look as legit as possible. Like, what do you mean this isn't a legit passport? This thing's been stamped by like 4 different governments, man. Like,
it's just as legit.
You've never heard of
Paznia
before?
Yeah, like, come on.
You've never heard of the Great? You've never heard of the Great Republic of Paznia? What's wrong with you? But yeah, really, it's just a neat way to do kind of I guess to do some fundraising for intentional community, because I do want to have intentional community here on the property. That's certainly the goal. And then beyond that, we're talking about second realms. There's a lot of folks starting up homesteads. There's I talked to Jim Davidson, who does a project called freedomlanddao.com, and they're trying to set up Liberty communities. He's trying to raise get investors. there's a lot of really, really cool, I guess, community projects like this happening. And Paznia, I want it to be, there's a potential community here, but then there's also going to be, for like-minded people, come here and camp for free. Like, if you want to come here, if you need a place to come stay for a week or two, you want to come, eat a couple weeks of fresh lamb or something, like, come on out here. We'd love to have you. Build we want the community aspect. We want to build an Agora ethical enclave. And then beyond that, as I said, a node. And the overarching network. So as far as what I'm finding out here, this year is really the year of food self-sufficiency. That's the goal. I started with lambs and goats last year, just a couple goats and a handful of lambs, just to kind of get started. And lambs are really, really easy. Surprisingly easy. They're easy animals to raise. And I just had, within the past couple of months, I've had three little baby lambs. Never done that before. Never had any experience with any of this stuff before, but it's all worked out fine. It's all been very, very easy. And yeah, like the lambs, back to the lambs, we actually processed, I processed from start to finish, an entire lamb, a couple lambs actually. And it's a very, very easy process for those who have skinned deer or things like that, processed deer. It's smaller animals like that. It's not we couldn't do a cow here at Paznia yet. Let's just put it that way. But yeah, lambs are very, very manageable, very easy animals, delicious food. And beyond that, for folks who are, like I said, looking for food self-sufficiency, I haven't gotten into this yet, but I know I've got to build a cage. I've got to get on it. But rabbits and quail are two very, very good animals to look at for food self-sufficiency. Rabbits reproduce very, very quickly. It's very quick turnarounds in terms of food and nutrition. So
both of those are something you can do in a small space too. You don't need to be on a big homestead to do rabbits or quail and get a lot of meat and eggs, from quail, obviously. So it's something you can do, relatively suburban or whatever.
Build a small cage and put it in your garage. Yep.
How is rabbit meat? I mean, I've had like elk, buffalo. I mean, I've had a lot of different meats, but I've never had a rabbit.
It's good.
I don't think I've actually eaten rabbit either. But I can't imagine. Would it be I can't imagine it'd be bad though.
No, it's not to sound too cliche. I mean, it's kind of chickeny. We had one. It was a wild rabbit out here. Our dogs actually killed it. And I got it from him. It was still in pretty good shape, and I was like, I'm gonna cook this fucker up.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it wasn't bad.
Yeah, none of it. I mean, I've been really surprised. I've been eating, I guess, more kind of a nose-to-tail carnivore diet for the past year and a half or 2 years, and I've eaten. There's some really strange, I guess, like there's only so many flavors in the world, right? Like, so like there's a lot of things that you would think wouldn't taste very good, but actually, like for example, I'll say, like beef tongue. You mention beef tongue to somebody and they'd probably freak out, but when you actually, put the beef tongue in the crock pot and you cut the skin off, you basically got a really, really delicious, more nutrient-rich chuck roast. Like that's what you have, and it's delicious. But people would just get freaked out about a beef tongue, which I would understand before. I would certainly understand before a couple years ago. But yeah, a lot of this stuff, got to get over those. I guess I maybe call them first realm fears, possibly, possibly. Yeah, like especially with what I've got right now. I've got two milk producing lambs on the property, and I've got a goat that'll be producing at some point here soon. When she has her kids, but like the pasteurization stuff, and such. Like it's I don't know. People have some fears about their meat, and when it comes to feedlot meat, like stuff you buy at the grocery store, yeah, I don't eat that shit either. Yeah, I don't eat that. Like certainly there's reasons to be fearful of that, but there's no reason to be fearful of eating animal meat.
Oh yeah, I've had people say to me like, oh well, how do I know that your chickens have had their antibiotics? And I'm like, they haven't. They don't need them. Like maybe you should ask why the stuff at the grocery store needs it. Why is it raised in a way that they get sick? My chickens don't get sick. They just don't. If they do, they just die. Like they don't. They're just they just crap out or something. That happens from time to time, but there's no like sickness. There's, if you're raising things the proper way, it's just not an issue.
Yeah, exactly right. If the animals are raised well on a species specific diet, like what they're supposed to eat, then yeah, they generally speaking, they'll live good healthy lives. Yeah, for sure. Yep.
What's the turnaround time on
I kind
lamb?
of always joke. Oh, sorry. So turnaround time on lamb, but the turnaround time on lamb, I got I guess it was I got a 4-month-old lamb from my neighbor here. I got my neighbor delivers lambs to my homestead. It's nice.
Okay.
Yeah, 4-month-old lamb. And I processed it. I probably got that in April, and processed it Thanksgiving weekend. So 7 months. 7 months, fattened it up. Probably could have fattened it up more, but I wanted some meat. So yeah, 7 months turnaround. Not too bad. I've got another one out there. Freddy 2 is out there. Actually, no, this is Freddy 1. Freddy 1's out there now. And I guess it'll be about a year for him. Well, yeah. You're right. Yeah, I accidentally named a couple of them, but no.
It happens. It happens. We've got a pig with a name that needs to go, and it's heartbreaking.
Yeah. Yep, definitely know what you mean. But so I guess I don't remember if there's anything else I wanted to add on that. No, but lambs are super easy. I wanted to have a couple of like each animal. I want to have like a couple, a handful of lambs, a couple of pastured pigs, couple of bison, couple of yaks, like just a couple of everything. But lambs have been so easy that I'm thinking about just having 2 big fields. I've got 2 massive fields out here. Just got to throw electric fence around it too. Not like bison or pigs where you got to really you got to get some real substantial fencing to keep those in. So I don't know. I'm really into lamb. I'm really into lamb right now. Which again, didn't think I would be homesteading, and definitely didn't think I'd be eating this much lamb. That's for sure.
Well, there's nothing wrong with specializing. If you find something that works for you, especially because once you have the infrastructure for that particular animal, it's just just when you scale up, things can get more efficient. So it's, it can, a lot of times if you find something that works for you, man, take it. Like we sort of fell into heritage breed turkeys, like we never expected it, but it started working and we sell out of them every year. So we're like, well, I guess we're doing this.
Nice. Yeah. We just started. I ordered a couple dozen fertilized duck eggs off eBay, and just this weekend, they've been hatching. Got probably getting close to a 50% hatch rate. Got a couple, I guess maybe one for sure, I guess finishing up hatching today. Hopefully 2 more. But yeah, I'm thinking about it, whether it's quail or duck. In terms of like the the entrepreneurship Agorist type angle. I mean, I haven't seen anyone around here selling duck. So like duck eggs or like ducklings. Food that produces food. Like, I haven't seen that. So like, I could set the market on that. So like, this is kind of just all this stuff. Like basically, all this stuff is just brand new to me. And I want to make that just very, very clear. Like I didn't know how to do any of this shit. Definitely didn't know how to do any of it. So I really want to emphasize that. Like there's certainly reasons to fear, like I guess getting into new things, but I don't know. I think we've been a little misled. I know my entire life growing up, I was told about back when your great grandparents grew up on there, they raised all their animals. It was hard work. It was super hard work. It's like, well, I don't know. What's more difficult for me, what I couldn't do for from age 18 to age 25 was I could not do a Servile Society job. Like that was miserable. That was hard work. That was hard, miserable work. Like I call, whether it's off-grid homesteading or van nomadism or whatever, I call them liberated lifestyles. And the idea is, 2020 did this involuntarily for a lot of people, but really the idea is to get out of that, to get out of the Servile Society in the first realm, so that you can actually own your thoughts again for like the first time, right? Because a lot of people, and me included, we've been so brainwashed and programmed our entire lives that it's really hard to actually kind of determine what thoughts are actually ours and what aren't. So whether it's someone starting a van nomad lifestyle, or if you're a traveler coming through Paznia for a month or so, unwinding and I guess getting a clear head, I guess that's I think it's a really 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 good first step too. And like I said, a lot of people involuntarily got offered that choice in 2020, and yeah, I don't know. There's certainly some negative things happening in the Servile Society in the first realm right now, but yeah, there's some more folks I think seeing the problems with the Servile Society, even if they aren't making radical lifestyle changes. I think there's certainly a lot of local organizing happening. So yeah, I think there's certainly a lot to look forward to.
Yeah, absolutely. And Paznia sounds great, man. Like I'm ready to get a passport myself, and maybe even check it out for a week or whatever, and get some get some farm skills or whatever. But
yeah, I should mention, so no, you're good. You're good. Last year, we had an event what I called Vonu Fest 1. It was last weekend in September. Had about 20 or 25 self-liberators out here. We don't like to do, spontaneity is better. But not big fans of the schedule. The kind of I guess there's nothing wrong with it, but that's not what we do here at Paznia. But we just come up with 1 or 2 self-liberation goals for the weekend, or it'll be a whole week this time. But last year we assembled a 3D printer on the property, so everyone got a chance to watch that process, to help with it if they wanted to kind of watch the calibration with it. So yeah, that happened out here. There's a couple other projects that redacted for security culture purposes. But yeah, this year there's a lot of demand for events, for gatherings. So we're obviously gonna have Vonu Fest 2, which is basically last weekend in September, only starting on the last Monday in September. It'll be a whole week. You got to be vetted. I got to know you to come out here. But anyway, we've got Telegram groups. Basically, get into those, build up your reputation, and if we both know somebody and someone can vouch for you, then obviously you're welcome on the property. We're doing this in a very security culture, very very security culture minded way, and I guess also to mention for folk, and it's also kind of funny too, because I can promote the events and then just say, well, look, we're having these cool events, but you can't come. Which I don't know, it's kind of rude, but
it's the best form of marketing, dude.
Yeah, it reminds me of what Eric Cartman did with his
the theme park.
Yeah, yep. So we've got an event coming up last weekend in March. It's just an unofficial camping and riding weekend. But so if you're interested in hopping in the Telegram channel, we've got a chat group. All the information's at the website paznia.com, paznia.com. Sorry, go ahead.
So I wanted to go back to something you talked about. You're saying like vetting people, and what was the term you're using? I'm thinking OPSEC. What were you?
Yeah.
What was the term you were just using?
Security culture is what the general term.
Security culture. That's right. I had heard on the Vonu podcast a while back, they were talking a little bit about sort of like how to vet people and stuff, things like this. Because so for instance, I've been dicking around with Freedom Cell and stuff, and of course you're always like, hey, I hope everyone's legit, right? So that kind of stuff is very important. The whole security culture and everything. Do you have any maybe recommended reading or anywhere you might be able to point people for some information on that kind of stuff if they wanted to get a little more into that?
Yeah, for sure. So I'd recommend, we've done a number of episodes on the Vonu podcast, and the show notes are there too. I know just recently, I think it was episode 99 of the podcast, I released the audiobook for Kyle's, I mentioned Kyle before, Kyle Reardon, his book, Just Below the Surface, Guide to Security Culture. The audiobook for that is out on the Vonu Podcast podcast feed. That's a really, really good starting point. Gets into a lot of very different areas. And you're talking about vetting. Kyle talks about there are at least a few articles on activist organizations and such. So yeah, he talks about vetting and some issues that have happened in the past, with real historical case studies, and those sorts of things. So that'd be a really good place to start. Is those episodes of the podcast. There's good show notes there.
Excellent.
Yeah. Beyond that, I mean. Beyond that, I mean, just Rayo generally. We've got if you go to VonuPodcast.com, there's a tab says free Vonu books. Vonu Book 1, Vonu Book 2. Those all have a lot of articles by Rayo. Vonu Life March 1973 is incredible too. There's a lot of security culture minded stuff in there. But yeah, those are on that free books tab there. It's the Vonu Podcast site, and those are. Yeah, Rayo was. I mean, there was people would say he was. I don't know what's the paranoid. People would say he's paranoid. He was just very, very good at security. He was very good at what he did. Very, very good at all of it. But yeah.
What's that saying, man? Just because I'm paranoid doesn't mean they're not out to get me. There's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
Yeah, I'll definitely hop on Telegram and try to be a good Paznian and for sure, man. So
yeah,
but
and obviously like we've I guess coordinated enough. We've worked with each other enough. You guys are obviously welcome out here for the events. Invited Jim. Invited. There's going to be some good, and I guess I'll mention this too. In terms of Vonu Fest. I try not to promote, like I haven't officially announced anything yet, but I guess I'll go ahead and mention this. Since there's not going to be a lot of like, I guess cultural stuff like musical events and things happening this year, or I guess there weren't going. I guess there weren't going to be. There's a lot of demand for events. We're hoping to have some musical performances, at some liberty-minded performances. At Vonu Fest this year. So, yeah, we're hoping to do that.
Well, you guys heard it here first. So, breaking news on that one.
That's all I'll say.
What advice do you have? Like, Liberty Under Attack is a great publication. I think it's my favorite by far. So, well, I love CoPubCo too, but definitely those two are amazing publications for sure. But what advice do you have for publishers? Because Agorist Nexus is getting into publishing, and we've already got already have it planned out for a couple big names to drop books with us. So what kind of advice would you have for somebody like me?
Yeah, that's a good question. That's a good question. What advice would I have for for publishers? I guess the unfortunate one the unfortunate one I was talking to there's another author and I guess another author bookseller who I was talking to, and unfortunately one of our publishing avenues is Kindle Direct Publishing, which is evil Amazon, but we get a lot of organic traffic with books on Amazon. Don't like them being listed there, but these are books that I don't think would have ever sold if they weren't listed there. Like for example, Citizens Aversion Sabotage is our bestseller, and it's just from Amazon. I don't know where it comes from, but it's just there. So like at least I can have some solace in the fact that it's Amazon that's selling it, but at the same time, like they're like, I don't know how it's happening. I know it's got like 50 reviews, and I don't know where they're coming from. So that's I guess that's
it
something.
Is kind of funny that
it sucks. It sucks, but like that's where like that's at least for that book. at least for that book.
Well,
So
why not?
I
I
don't
mean,
know.
it's like, yeah, on the one hand, it's like, yeah, it sucks that, like, but it's like, shit, they're selling it for you. So like it's almost like
Yeah.
it's almost like you're winning. Like, it's not like, oh, we're settling and selling it there. It's like they're doing your work for you, man. It's, I don't know. Maybe I get not wanting to deal with them if you can avoid it, but
and it's also too so we have Ben Stone's anarchist abolitionist Bad Quaker's Journey, his I guess more I guess autobiographical book. But yeah, that one we've got basically 3D printed gun schematics on the cover of that. Which yeah, is on Amazon. So like if we're trying to, like, if we're going to be in this position where we have, like, it's kind of the same thing we were talking about some of the legal interstices earlier, about maybe having a bank account. Like they're not good, they're not good, they're not good middle grounds. And I guess that does or they're not good solutions. And I guess I should mention, because there's, we were talking about solutions. So in terms of second realm strategy, for things like these, there are rules for people called proxy merchants. And so the idea is basically a intermediary to facilitate interaction between the realms, between the first realm and the second realm, and in Vonu terms, between the servile society and a secure Vonu home base. So I guess to toss out another idea here, possibly. I don't know. Maybe there's some proxy merchant rules for publisher. Like for maybe there's some I don't know. Maybe if you were to, like, if you're getting into publishing, maybe you get a printing press, and you're the underground press. Like, I would certainly go to you over Amazon, right? Like, like that. I don't know. That's what comes to mind. Like that's literally like the hardest part right now is kind of that bottleneck. Either you use Kindle Direct Publishing or Lulu, or you're basically just it's going to be hard to make money, I guess, to make money. So I guess that's off the top of my head. Hopefully that helps. I mean, hopefully that helps.
Yeah, I really appreciate that. So yeah, and if anyone wants to check out, please check out Liberty Under Attack Publications if you haven't already.
Oh yeah, I guess I could talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, please do.
I guess I could mention second round book on strategy and #Agora. We offer those, are both available for free online. All these books are available for free, like the free Vonu Books tab. A lot of the books in LA Publications catalog are just from there that we just put in paperback format. So all the stuff's available for free. But if you do want to support my efforts, support LA Publications, you can go pick up paperback books there. We've got bundles. For example, Self-Liberation Bundle. We published like 19 or 20 books. The Self-Liberation Bundle is all of those. We've got the Crypto Anarchist Bundle, the Anarchist Fiction Bundle, or I think it's the Anarchist Fiction Bundle. But yeah, we've got all sorts of discounted bundles, and we'll very, very soon. We had a ghost pad, a really, really sick ghost pad kit that Jamin Bakonik made, a special Vonu pad is what we called it. A firmware hardened laptop with some really cool hacking tools. Yeah, we're hoping to get another one of those in, and we're also working on something we're calling Freedom Boxes, which are going to be the infrastructure for the Paznia library. Which, I mean, there's a lot of projects, but anyway, we've got for LEO Publications, books and coming crypto anarchy tools, privacy tools as well. So libertarianattack.com. And if you're an author looking for a publisher, we can help with that. libertarianattack.com/publish. And if you're an author and you already have a book published and you just want to get it in our catalog, we always like to do that too. We always like to have authors reach out to us and offer it too. So yeah, for sure. I guess that's it for LEO Publications. Appreciate that.
Yeah, and speaking of listed publications, we're both selling Lily Forrester's book right now, and if you guys want to check that out, please do. She's an amazing gal, and her book's very good. So
for sure,
yeah, check that out.
Yeah.
So Did you have any more questions, Dag?
Just a slight comment, I suppose. I was just gonna say that it's really awesome that you guys offer so many books, like, and also like digital, like, free format. Um, because, like, so I'll keep like some books like just like on like my phone, so I have something to read whenever. But man, there is just something so nice about having an actual book. Some that consider shell, something you can lend to somebody, something like that. So it's nice that you have the options there, and I really like the packages and everything. And then also, you had mentioned Subversion, Sedition, Sabotage Manual. I'm a little over halfway through that, and it is really good. I definitely highly recommend that to anybody. I've been wanting to read it for years, and finally getting around to it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a great read. It's a great read, and I will mention for folks who don't like reading and would rather listen, there's an audiobook available for that free, libertarianattack.com/Ben Stone audiobook. We'll have all the links into the audiobook there. Anyway, I don't know where I was going, but I guess I should also mention too, and it's good to have the physical copy, but these are like Vonu Life March 1973. We just recently republished that one. But yeah, some of these cover designs are absolutely incredible too. I've got my business partner Miriam Zachariah. She does really great cover designs. So that's another perk. Another perk is you get a really good looking book. So
yeah. And you got all my questions, and this is such a great episode, and there's so much, you gave us so much information in a very short period of time, and so we really appreciate that, and definitely check out as much of Shane's stuff as possible on Agorist Nexus or Liberty Under Attack or his podcast, just everywhere. So we're the Liberty community is very blessed to have you, for sure. So really
I definitely appreciate that. I definitely appreciate it.
Yeah.
Definitely appreciate that. And I guess I will say, just as a really positive note to leave out on, there's some new areas of opportunity for Agorist, for business minded people. So view all this as an opportunity. There's lots of new opportunities out there. Lots of new opportunities. So
I
with
totally
that,
agree.
I certainly appreciate you guys having me on.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, like you're talking about in your recent article there, I agree with you 100% on that. But it's like this last year has definitely been crazy, but like it's been very liberating for me personally.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like when shit's going down, it makes it easier to realize what it is you need to do. Maybe that's what I'm trying to say, but but yeah, I'm feeling focused, I'm feeling optimistic. And even though there's a lot of craziness, it's like, I feel like I know what I need to do.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Exactly. Yep. Right there with you 100%. Got nothing else to add.
Sweet. Then yeah, I guess I'm good too.
I wanted to give a shout out to a new listing on Agorist Nexus. It's called Agorist Acres, and they sell seeds, and they even donate a small percentage back to Agorist Nexus so that we keep content going. So, get some seeds from an Agorist business. Help yourself stay. Give yourself a sustainable lifestyle with seeds while helping the Agora and helping content be created with the Agorist Nexus. So you really kill, and you're creating food. So you kill at least 4 birds with one stone on that one.
Yeah,
so,
they have the option to pay with cryptocurrency as well.
Yeah, no KYC seeds.
Yep. But hey, man, if you got some profits you want to work out from this recent crypto boom, head on over, and you can also use code Nexus10 and you'll get 10% off. So check that out.
Man,
That's our first official plug.
yeah,
for them.
Agorist Nexus even has their own code.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
um,
So bringing value to our listeners.
absolutely. Yeah. Well, with that said, I'll wrap it up with a quote here. Just as the state is obsolete as a means of defense against foreign governments and private criminals, so politics are obsolete as a means of defense against the state. Political reform, revolutions, or education at most changes rulers and slogans. It does not bring about enduring freedom. In a community of a few hundred, democratic procedures can be helpful. In a nation of millions, they are only placebos. Vonu Life, March 1973. Is that a Rayo quote?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. One of my favorite Rayo quotes, actually. Yeah.
Yeah,
it's good stuff.
awesome quote.
Yeah.
Agorist Nexus out.
Peace.